Hey, this is Doc Yates. I'm a naturopathic doctor, registered acupuncturist, and a kinesiologist, owner of the Yates Naturopathic Clinic, and the founder of the interactive health website, Able Health. And this is the Simply Health Podcast, a show for females where I work to simplify and demystify the secrets of achieving optimal health naturally, based on my own experience in working with thousands of female patients over the past 15 years of my clinical practice. Welcome to Simply Health. Hey, this is Doc Yates, and welcome to the Simply Health Podcast, brought to you today by Able Health. And today we want to talk about your mindset and focusing on a healthy mindset. And really what the point I want to get across here is focusing on your health from a position of strength as opposed to a position of weakness and fear. Because though the actions can be the same in terms of what you're doing to get closer to health, the mindset behind it makes a big difference on whether you're going to get there or not. And the thing is with mainstream medicine is that they often like to focus more so on the fearful part of it, and it's like, if you don't, the silent thief, they're using terms in terms of their marketing. So, the silent thief is stealing your bones and you're going to get osteoporosis, so therefore you need this medication. Or the silent killer of blood pressure is going to cause these issues, and therefore you need to take these medications. And the thing is, it's not even just mainstream marketing or mainstream medicine, it's all marketing in general. And the same thing applies to natural remedies as well. You will see the same type of fear tactics that they use to drive you to basically to buy. And what I want to do is kind of have you, even if you end up using these exact same remedies, supplements, or medications, using them for a different mental purpose as opposed to approaching everything from a position of fear. And here's the thing, it's not just you. Medical professionals have the same struggles for this too. So much so that I remember sitting in pathology class as a student, and then the practitioner would be talking about some sort of condition. Sometimes it was even be more of a benign one, like in naturopathy we use the term like adrenal burnout or fatigue a lot, and then all the students would look around and be like, that's totally me, and then they would talk about, and then they have this, they could have these inflammatory conditions, like, that's totally me. And I remember thinking, man, everybody is like psyching themselves into think that they have every condition that they're learning about. And I remember thinking about that for a long time, and honestly, only within the last few weeks, I was listening to a different podcast, and it turns out there's a term for that, which at some medical schools, they tell their students, when we go through these pathologies, you're going to think that you have these pathologies. It's called medical student syndrome. And our pathologist did not tell us this, but I remember looking around the room and seeing this in my classmates being, I have that. I definitely have that condition. That would explain so much. And we were all fine. None of us had any of those conditions. So the thing is that the fear, they can use it because that's when you see I see people come in the office and they literally have bags of medications, most of which they don't really need. And the same things for supplements. They'll have health food store syndrome where they come in with literally, they're taking 20 different supplements. And it's way more than they need, but it's just because the person at the store is like, well, if you don't take this, then this is going to happen to you. So the same thing you see with food. People, they get to the point that they're scared to eat anything just because they're scared of, whatever that food could do to them. And I'm not saying that I encourage people eating junk food and all processed garbage food. Not eating it and being afraid of it is two very different things. So here's the 4 points we're going to focus on today then. I want you to focus when you're making a change, focus on the positive aspect of the change, not on the negative that you're trying to get away from. So focus on the positive aspect of the change. I'm doing this to have a stronger heart, not because I'm worried about my heart getting weak. I'm taking this because I'm going to help my body detox, not because I'm worried about being full of toxins. You're getting the same result, but changing the mindset changes you from fear and anxiety to strength, power, and discipline. And that's a big, big change. Point number 2, reward the positive with positive, and then don't guilt trip yourself over the negative. So reward positive with positive, Don't guilt trip yourself over negative. So what does that mean? When you make positive changes, it's good to reward yourself for making those changes. It's kind of a way to reaffirm that you're going the right direction and to make yourself want to do the next change. But you don't reward yourself with the opposite of what you're trying to achieve. Like when people are on a diet, they're like, oh, I finally lost 5 pounds, and I'm going to reward myself by going to an all-I-can-eat pasta buffet with, 3 bowls of ice cream after. And it's like, yeah, I'm sure you're going to feel great during, but then you're going to feel terrible after. So how is that a reward? A reward should make you feel good not just during, but like the next day you should feel better too. Not just immediately and then we're going to discuss that too. And then when you do make a mistake, don't cry over spilt milk. Just get over it and go to the next one. There's so many times where I've had clients that have been on a diet and they're doing great. Maybe they have company over for the weekend. Maybe there's some sort of big social event. They fall off the wagon. That is to be expected. But then they're like, oh, I fell off the wagon. Well, I might as well quit now. And then they just go off the rails like completely back again, and they stay off. You will slip up along the way. No matter what you're doing, if you're trying to eat right, if you're trying to exercise, if you're trying to accomplish any type of goals, you will slip up. I can guarantee it. But you'll see the difference between when you watch. If you watch any documentaries of successful people, whether they're business or athletes or even in politics, most of them slip up a lot, but it's the ones who just get right back on track and refocus on their goal. That's what sets them apart, and that's what you need to do to set yourself apart. Don't guilt trip yourself. Don't go off the rails when you slip up. Just get yourself back up, dust yourself off, and get back on track. Point number 3, don't get obsessed about the details. Just think of the broad picture. There's so many times people are like, oh, I need to do this, but if I'm going to do that, I need to do this, and then I need to take this supplement, but I can't take 200 milligrams. I have to get 213 milligrams, and if I can't find the right supplement brand that supplies the exact amount that I need, those little details are not going to help you in any way. And the more you kind of geek out about things, the more you will stress out about things. So big picture, focus on the big picture, small changes and big brush strokes without having to focus on the tiny little details, because those tiny little details are not going to be the things that in this case, it's going to get the job done. So focus on the big picture. And point number 4, I already alluded to this a little bit earlier, but do not focus on the moment. Everyone is always like, live in the moment, focus on the moment. Don't do that, especially when you're dealing about goals. Like there's a lot of things that are going to make you feel really good right now, but things that make you feel really good right now, if they don't make you feel really good the next morning when you wake up, or if you're doing it and don't feel good the next week or the next year, chances are it's not going to be a good pick for you. So I'm sure, drinking some beer with the buddies feels good, but it doesn't mean you should do it every day or anything. And most things that make you feel really good in that very moment usually don't make you feel that great long term. So if you find something that does, stick to it. And you can use that to reward yourself when you're rewarding positive for positive. But I think you all know where I'm going with this. This is a bit of, again, rambling on a little bit, but I'm just really trying to get this point across that it's not about the moment, it's about the long-term goal. Okay, so I hope these points would be a little bit helpful in motivating you to stay on track, to work towards your goals, to stay healthy, and doing it from a position of strength as opposed to coming at everything from a position of fear and anxiety. So this is Doc Yates, signing off. Thanks for tuning in to Simply Health. If you want to learn more about health, check out Able Health. If you want to see some of the other projects that I've been working on in health, business, music, and life, please check out the links below.